Pisces, the moon in Taurus, and some planetary significators that belong to Pisces and Taurus, which include the planets Jupiter, for the ancient ruler of Pisces, Neptune, the modern ruler of Pisces, Venus, the ruler of Taurus. These three planets symbolically are brought into the limelight as the sun transits Pisces. Happy birthday to all the Pisces, by the way, and happy new beginning for all the Tauruses out there. In this video, I'm going to be doing some deep dives. So if you're interested, you're more than welcome to place yourself on the list. The experience starts as soon as you donate to the cause. And we're going to look at this a little bit. This energy that's in the skies. Deep dive. This chart I like a little bit better, smaller, but it gets the whole chart in the screen. Hope you can see it here. I'm going to point to the symbolism here. We got the sun in Pisces at 4 degrees of Pisces. The beginning, fresh, new. And the moon in Taurus here at 10 degrees, just recently reached the second beacon of Taurus, which means the middle of Taurus, if you will. Welcome in. How are you? So before I get too deep into this, we can stay here for a moment with Pisces energies and Taurus energy. And with that being said, if we look at the element or the elements or the elemental, elementary, rudiments, elements, elementary, just putting words together. Of the zodiac sign Pisces, Pisces is a water element. Taurus is an earth element. What did I come up with in my notes? I put something in my notes here. Let me find it. Where was it? It was so good. It was so good. I'm learning how to utilize notes a little bit more because sometimes I get to freestyle, and I like my freestyle. I like how I freestyle. However, for some reason, reviewing over my notes may benefit those who are in the beginning phases of comprehending the components of the zodiac wheel. This is a deep dive donation day Sundays. I'm excited about this. So you're welcome. If you'd like me to pull up your chart, I could do that today. I'm taking the time to set that aside, spend a little time with you on this lovely Sunday. Thank you for liking the live. Don't feel like you have to get a donation-based section. You can also ask questions and such. You can do whatever it is that you want to do as the God in you says so and inspires you. It's all good. Taurus is an earth sign, so it deals with grounded. What I looked at in the notes is how I was talking about, or I had taken a note on how emotions are looking for stability now. Oh, dreams, Pisces, because Pisces is associated with dreams and inner vision, right? The inner vision. Thank you so much, Carmen. I appreciate you. Pisces is inner vision. It could be interpreted as a symbol of the internal emotions and feelings and visualizing from an internal place, the internal dialogue, internal conversation, that which you don't necessarily share with others right away. And Taurus is an earth sign, grounding, materializing things. It could be as simple as, you can use an example of, let's say you had a desire to start a business, a dream, something that you may not have told too many people. Maybe you told a couple people, but not too many. Now, maybe looking into how to turn that dream into a reality, if you will. It's interesting how Pisces is a mutable sign when it comes to the modality, and Taurus is a fixed sign. Pisces is the end of winter, Taurus is the middle of spring. So turning, so working with the adaptable modality and turning it into something that's a little more concrete, to take shape, to mold it into something. Not for nothing, in addition to that, when it comes to the taking shape, what comes to mind is when we mix water and earth together, we kind of get a little bit of mud, especially the dirt from the spring. Cold water, spring dirt, end of winter water, and spring dirt, mud. Maybe we can make not only a mud pie, but maybe a figure of some sort. Who knows? For those who love mud pies. So there's that. What else did I have in here? Notice how Pisces is a sign of sensitivity. Emotions, period, sensitive. Even if you're the strongest person on the planet, there's emotions that are involved and they're tender. The combination of Pisces and Taurus, and adding the Taurus element into that sensitivity, we add in, if we were making a recipe, someone said these components remind them of the ingredients to a recipe, if you will. So if we were to add the Taurian or Taurus ingredient, we could add patience, a time to be patient with our emotions, others' emotions, being a little bit more patient to our dreams, to our visions, and the such. The zodiac sign Taurus is a sign Physiologically, it has to do with the throat, neck, and the ears. Listening, a time of listening a little bit more. Perhaps. Nourishment through listening. Happy Sunday. Welcome in. We're here. Deep dive donation based Sundays. Who's first? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for the compliment, for the greetings. Greetings to you. Peaceful Sundays, nourishing Sundays, brought to you by the symbolism of Taurus. Emotional growth. Emotional stability, growth, and that Taurus is in the spring. Taurus is the middle of spring. It's a time for those in the northern latitudes, of course. In the southern latitudes, it's the middle of fall. You'll go first. Send your birth information in the memo of the Cash App. We can get you in here first. I'm excited. And I'll incorporate the transits with your chart, looking at the sun in Pisces, the moon in Taurus. We're also going to take a look at Jupiter in Cancer. You already sent it? Okay, you sent it. You didn't put any of the birth information in there. You put no birth information in there. I encourage you to put the birth information in the memo. Unless you're comfortable with putting it in the comments. Not everybody is comfortable with that. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Um, I appreciate that. Um, Royal Karma. Not sure if you're hearing me. Testing, testing. Mic check. Mic check. That's fine. If you're okay with putting it in the chat, that's up to you. Ms. Cream Moon, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Right. So if you put the birth information in there, I'm not seeing it in the comments here, and I don't see it in the memo of the donation. It's in the chat. I do not see it in the chat. Do you see why I say to put it in the memo? A little more comfort for you. Because you're putting the year, the time, the city, the state. So it's for your sense of comfort and security. I have January 4th so far. Thank you so much for the likes and the subscriptions. Got it. Let's put your birth information in here. Did I spell it wrong? I did. I put lay instead of la. Got it. Okay, we have you here. Thank you so much for your donation. Appreciate you. Thank you. I am well. I am learning how to maintain patience, the inner calm. This is such a great reminder. The cycle of the moon in Taurus. Patience, listening, hearing, right? I had talked to you and shared with you before how, I don't know if you remember, but the energy, the character traits of Pisces are lit, they're amplified. Potentially, you may have recognized and noticed how you're aware, maybe more aware of your health and the importance of health, maybe. Not only physical health, but also mental health. The sun, when it transits the sixth house, have found over the years that it pinpoints a time where health issues arise, or we add on to a health routine, or maybe I've recognized some clients, they go for a routine checkup, maybe. Physiologically, Pisces has to do with the feet. So even if there's nothing wrong health wise, physically or mentally, maybe being mindful and aware of the reservation of yourself through maybe being off your feet a little bit more, especially when it's time to rest. In addition to the sun in Pisces, the sunlight, as we can see in the sky, if it was a clear sky today, it's cloudy sky where I'm at, but if we could see, if it was a clear sky, we would see the moon in a crescent form approaching 90 degrees, right? It's growing in light towards 90 degrees, towards 180 degrees, but a time to be patient, right? When it comes to our health, sit in that rest, right? It's a big part of our health is resting. You're currently working on your son's case. I remember that now. I watched a video the other day and it was talking about how, like, the work to rest ratio. This is significant because Pisces is a sign that we can interpret it as healing, emotional healing through rest. And it doesn't necessarily have to be through being going to sleep. It could be wakeful rest. As I sit here before I even got on the live, just sitting here and just intentionally scanning my body to see if there's anything that's uptight, and if it is, to loosen it. You've been doing all this work with your son's case, perhaps, potentially. If the universe were talking, that it would say, hey, royal karma, hey, are you rested? Like, let me ask you a question. If you sat down right now and you dimmed the lights, turned off the TV and the music and all the noises around your house, and you took 30 deep breaths, 30 for 30 times, you inhale for 4 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds, and then take 2 seconds before you do another set. If you were to do that, and then each time you did it, you got into a more comfortable state, I wonder if you would fall asleep. That would be a sign right off the rip. It would be a sign that maybe Royal Karma is on borderline burnout. Curious, would you fall asleep? So what do you recognize that rest is important. Your body's calling for it. Royal Karma, could we get some rest here? Royal Karma, health, we're tired. And even if you don't go to sleep, let's say for shits and giggles, you don't even fall asleep. No, I gotta work. I got stuff to do. It's interesting because Pisces, where the sun is a water sign, and the moon in Taurus gives us the combination or the action of the creation of mud to loosen up the dirt or to loosen up the earth so it's more malleable so we can make something out of it. So like the rest itself, Pisces allows us to energetically, we can interpret that as an allowance for creating the creation of a thing, but through rest. Over the course of the last 2 years, I've noticed how important it is to go to bed, even if I've stumbled upon some type of knowledge with astrology. Like I'm like, oh wow, this is dynamic. I discover it at like 9 p.m. And I have this feeling I'm like, oh, this is the big one. I'm gonna stay up all night for this one. Over the course of the past 2 years, I've been like, mm, if I go to bed now, I want to wake up at this time. If I go to bed now, then I could get 8 hours. I can get 7 to 8 hours if I go to bed now, or I could stay up all night, weighing and measuring there. So what I'm trying to say is that your rest is important, and things materialize. They have the potential to materialize when you get rest. Now, you're not going to do that only today or only while the moon is in Taurus, but this is a reminder. This is the stage of the cycle that we're in where you can be reminded to incorporate that even when you start back to getting to work. Notice how the sun is in Pisces, and over the course of the next 26 days, it's going to go through a field and an environment that Saturn has just left. That is powerful to me because it's almost as if the sun, like imagine you have a family member and let's say they're at your house, you're on your way home, they leave before you get there. And then when you get there, you're like, I can see how my family member that they were here because of some of the things that they left, some of the actions that they did. Oh, they washed the dishes, but they left the fork in the sink. Like those little small little things that you notice. We can interpret that and look at how the sun going through Pisces through this transit is recognizing how Saturn left its mark there. What does that look like? It looks like times where you have sacrificed your sleep, drooling on the paperwork. What time is it? You know, work on your son's case, perfectly printed paper, you know, perhaps. Maybe you didn't drool. I added that in there. But we're at a point and of the phasings of the cycle to be patient, for you to be patient, a reminder for you to be patient. Right? We can even looking at your chart specifically and how Jupiter and Neptune are situated, right? Jupiter is in Libra. Neptune is in Sagittarius. Those are fire and air signs. The inspiration through, ideas and insight. And Jupiter is so close to Libra's your rising. Excuse me. But I'm looking at how Jupiter is in Libra and Neptune is in Sagittarius. But Jupiter is situated in the 12th house. So growth and greatness are in energetically, are in an environment that is labeled as a resting place. What does that mean? We can look at that, interpret that as through rest and sufficient rest, there's a hell of a lot more growth from your actions and interactions in life. Neptune is in Sagittarius. Neptune is the planet of rest, and it's in the sign of education and learning. So your Jupiter is in the house of rest, and the planet of rest, Neptune, is in the sign of education. Two testimonies that can be interpreted as saying, hey, these are signs for royal karma. Hey, it may not appear like it, but when you get rest, you produce more. So today and tomorrow, the moon is going to be in Taurus for another 20 degrees, which is at least another 24 hours. So sitting with that may benefit you significantly. Significantly. Thank you so much, Royal Karma. I appreciate you. Rejuvenate yourself through rest. You may benefit through, and if it's not going to sleep, wakeful rest is a real thing. Thank you so much. Balance is key. Who's next? What position is Sagittarius to your chart? Sagittarius is in the third house for you. 10 degrees of Sagittarius is in the third house. 20 degrees of Sagittarius is in the second house. Sagittarius, the entirety of Sagittarius splits this third house cusp or this line, which is the front door to the third house, which I would say Sagittarius is the ruler of your third house. Neptune is in the second house, right on the cusp of your third house. When you look at the chart, it's in the second, which is a testimony that we can interpret as you financially gain through rest. You missed nothing. You're right on time. We're doing deep dive donation based interpretations. I don't know what you mean. Your comment sounds like you are moving really fast. Your thoughts are moving really fast in your mind, or maybe the thoughts are not moving fast. Maybe you're jumping from one thought and idea to the next before one is completely processed, which is a part of the sixth house. Here's why. The sixth house, where the sun is blazing in your chart, deals with details and specifics. Dominique, welcome. How are you? So you're asking me about the lunar eclipse. And what it means as far as you're feeling a redemption for her. I don't know who her is. You got your comment. We got to slow down a little bit. Take a deep breath. I could be wrong, but the focus for you that I would share that I'm picking up is the importance of rest. I just shared with you how the sun in Pisces points to rest. The ruler of Pisces is Jupiter as well as Neptune. And they're both highlighted in your chart where they were when you were born. Jupiter is in the 12th house, which can signify knowledge and wisdom through a symbol that can be interpreted as this individual becomes wise and there's growth through rest and reflection and ponder. We also looked at Neptune in your chart, which is in Sagittarius, which is a sign of growth and expansion and seeing. You can see so much more and connect these dots where wisdom then is produced from rest. Are you with me? I would love to sit with you with a private reading and go over your mother and how that ties into it. Um, that's not what I'm doing here today, but perhaps in the future we can set some time aside to look at that a little bit more and have a little tennis match with the charts. March 3rd. Now that you use that date, March 3rd, I think the eclipse date is on March 3rd, to answer your question. So there's some connections there. However, coming back to yourself, right? With this combination here with the sun in Pisces and the moon in Taurus, right? And I appreciate you saying that. You're thanking me for being patient. And I appreciate that. And I thank you for acknowledging patience that I'm having and also how you could benefit from being more patient and giving yourself an opportunity to recharge. Not for nothing. I talked a lot about sixth house, but for you, the eighth house, Pisces is the sixth sign in your chart. Taurus is the eighth sign in your chart. Rebirth, eighth house, and health and wellness through a renewing and a rebirthing of the self. This is the phase that the sun and the moon are currently in. Okay. So try it before you, or as you, not before you, as you live, maybe try. You already mentioned that you could fall asleep without doing 30 deep breaths, maybe putting yourself in a state of rest, wakeful rest at first. Let's try it. Try the medicine. All right, who's next? Welcome in. Hope your day is going well. Hope you're having a patient day. I hope that your inner awareness shining bright and that you're listening to it, perhaps. Oh, your son is listening? Or you're saying, excuse me, or are you saying from the entirety of the experience and the situation your son is learning? That's awesome. That is huge. Who is next? Feel deeply, Pisces. Stay grounded. Grow through care. Ooh, growing through caring. Growing through caring about what? Growing through caring about your feelings. How do you feel? Oh, I feel tired. Oh, we got to get some rest. Once we get some rest, we recharge. Now, how do we feel? Act on inspiration, acting on inspiration. You know, inspiration and being inspired takes energy. You know, we need fuel for that. We need fuel, we need rest. There's two sources of fuel, possibly food fuel and rest fuel. To even be able to play the game. How can you play the game if you're tired and you have no fuel? Oh, I'll eat whenever I'll eat. I'm not hungry. Okay. Well, you got no fuel. Recharge. Love with compassion. Love with compassion and growth through care for others as well as for you. Caring with yourself. Care in a slow, patient, methodical, perhaps. What's interesting is Venus in Pisces is another symbol that points to and connects Taurus with Pisces. And I say that because Venus is the ruler of Taurus. A marigold day. Thank you for that. I will have a marigold day now. Marigold. The sun in Pisces, moon in Taurus connects these two by rays of light, the giving of light and the distribution of light, the two lights. And then symbolically, the moon in Taurus gives back to Pisces by its ruler being in Pisces. And these reoccurring testimonies, Pisces, the sun in Pisces, giving rays of light to the moon in Taurus, energetically, Pisces character traits, Taurian character traits come about, and then that light of the moon bouncing back towards Pisces with Venus in Pisces can be interpreted as reinforcing the compassion, the compassionate nature, and compassionate about those things that have to do with the dissolve and or the bonding. I looked up the other day the root meaning of emotion, I think. Is it emotion? I think. But it came to we got to talking about how emotions and water, the water element of Pisces and it being an emotion sign or a feeling based sign that has to do with bonding, you know, Pisces. And if we look at Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio, we can see this bonding behavior. The zodiac sign Cancer is the crab, which has two pinchers. That is a sign of a bond and a not and an unwillingness to let go of the bond. Interesting. The bonds that are formed in your life possibly come through the healthier you are. And I would say the healthier that you are is because one of the most, I don't want to say most important, I would say a highlighted theme in your life right now is health and well-being, health and wellness. And with the sun being in Pisces, which is a sign of emotions, the signs of bonding, um, the healthier that you are and the more well that you feel, the more that bonds can be created because you have more energy, you have more fuel, you use more of your mind, and carrying that with a sense of peace and patience benefits you. Like if we were to put astrology to the side and to look at what I'm sharing with you in this moment about being patient and resting, taking your time and recharging, right? We could look at this moment as a beginning of a phase of a cycle of confirming the importance of your well-being and rest. And so this would be like day one to a new phase. And so as the days go, as you progress and incorporating this, there's a potential for significant growth in your relationships. Look at how Jupiter is the ancient ruler of Pisces. When you were born, it was in Libra, which is a sign of relationships. What I'm trying to say is the more rested that you are and more regulated your system is, the more bonding that occurs on many different levels of your life. Many. And you would even possibly be able to see this as you are resting and getting into your trance like state. It would help you out so much more in every area, I would like to say. You that I well said. As I read and after I read that, I'm of the mind that that's a thing for many people to be charged from water and or those experiences in life that can be interpreted as connecting to water, like family, relationships. I would agree. Welcome in if you just got here. I'm doing deep dive donation based readings, interpretations. If you'd like to be placed on the list, I got room for one more that I'll do. But this, if I were to put this energy of the sun and the moon as they're working together, water and earth, Pisces and Taurus, mutable and fixed, this is the moment for the collective, a moment of compassionate awareness, grounded by emotional stability and guided toward inspired action. And that combines Pisces, Taurus, the character traits of Pisces, the character traits of Taurus, the character traits of Cancer, the zodiac sign Cancer, and the zodiac sign Aries. So Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Cancer. And those signs are connected through the sun and the moon and their position and how they relate one to another by the sun giving light to the moon energetically the character traits of Pisces, giving to the character traits of Taurus, and that being a place of manifestation and materializing or seeing ways in which to materialize things or have our dreams take shape. It's Aries because of the fact that Neptune, which is the modern ruler of Pisces, is in Aries. So that's where you get the inspired action. And Jupiter in Cancer, which is the ancient ruler of Pisces, which can be interpreted as emotional stability, and or yeah, that's the emotional stability. I mean, Taurus, the moon in Taurus could be emotional stability and growth, emotional growth through Jupiter in Cancer. Welcome in. Being compassionate with others, but also compassionate with yourself and patient with yourself. And when you recognize that you're moving a little bit too fast, just catch yourself and bring yourself back to a resting state. Just like our phones need to be charged, we also need charge. Charge and fuel. Recharged and fueled. All right. With that being said, I'm going to take this time to recharge and fuel. Thank you so much for the likes, the shares, the subscriptions, and I'll see you in the next video.